Do you know why God sometimes waits? Why He holds back the very thing you have prayed for? Why He allows silence to linger before the doors of heaven swing open? It is not because He has forgotten you. It is not because your faith is too small. And it is certainly not because His promises have changed. The truth is this: God delays because He loves you too deeply to give you the promise before you are ready to carry it. He delays because the gift is too sacred to be rushed. And you, beloved, are too precious to be left unprepared. In this sacred waiting, something unseen is being shaped within you. Your roots are going deeper. Your heart is being refined. Your spirit is learning how to cling not to blessings, but to the Blesser Himself. And tonight, I want to take you into this holy mystery. Why does God delay? Why does the breakthrough seem so far away, even when the tears of your prayers have watered the ground of faith for so long? Stay with me, because hidden in the story of delay is a wisdom that heals wounds you didn't know. We're still open, and before this message ends, I believe your spirit will find rest in the timing of God. Let us begin with the waiting of Abraham, the man to whom God said, "I will make of you a great nation, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed." Yet for years upon years, the promise of a son did not come. The silence of heaven stretched longer than his aging body could endure. Why? Because the miracle was not about Abraham's strength, nor Sarah's womb. The miracle was about God's glory revealed in the impossible. Had the child come quickly, they would have rejoiced in the gift. But when the child came late, they could only rejoice in the giver. Do you see it, my friend? Delay is not denial. Delay is the space where God reorders the affections of your heart. In waiting, He is teaching you that His presence is your true portion, not the child, not the job, not the healing, not even the dream fulfilled, but Him, always Him. And yet, let us be honest, waiting aches, waiting bends the soul, waiting feels like abandonment, even though Scripture assures us, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." You whisper into the night, "Lord, where are you?" And still the heavens remain still. But what if the silence is not absence? What if the silence is invitation, an invitation to lean closer, to trust more deeply, to find treasures in the dark that you could never see in the light? The psalmist wrote, "I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in His word I do hope." Waiting is not emptiness. It is expectation. It is the womb of something holy, carrying within it the seed of promise, growing, forming, unseen until the day of birth. So let me ask you gently, what if the very delay you resent is the ground where your future miracle is already taking root? I want you to pause here with me. Breathe in deeply. Let your shoulders fall. Let your striving rest. For the next moments together, let us walk slowly through the garden of God's timing. Let us not rush. Let us sit beneath the quiet shade of His patience, and let us open our hands to receive His wisdom, because His delays are not accidents. They are divine appointments, carved into your journey with precision and love. Consider the story of Lazarus. Mary and Martha cried out, "Lord, the one you love is sick." Yet Jesus waited 2 more days, 2 days that felt like betrayal, 2 days that ended in death. Why? Because Jesus was not interested in healing alone. He was preparing to reveal resurrection. If He had come when they asked, Lazarus would have been healed, and the crowd would have marveled. But because He came after the delay, Lazarus was raised, and the world beheld the glory of God. Delay gave way to a greater miracle. Delay lifted their eyes from what they had asked for to something they had never imagined possible. So, I ask you, could it be that your unanswered prayer is not because God has ignored you, but because He intends to show you something greater than what you asked? Perhaps what you want is healing, but what He intends is resurrection. Perhaps what you ask for is relief, but what He intends is transformation. Perhaps you seek blessing, but He longs to give you Himself. This is why delays come, not to wound you, but to enlarge you. And here, beloved, is where the true heart of waiting is revealed. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is preparation. God delays not because He is late, but because He is precise. Every moment of silence is aligned with a greater symphony. Every unanswered prayer is a note being written into a larger song. Isaiah said it plainly. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Waiting renews. Waiting restores. Waiting transforms the weary heart into one that soars. And when the breakthrough finally comes, you will not simply hold the gift, you will have become the kind of vessel that can carry it with grace. But I know what you are feeling even now. You whisper, Lord, I am tired. I have waited long enough. My heart is breaking under the weight of delay. Hear me, child of God. The one who holds time is holding you. And the same hands that stretched out the heavens are stretched out still. Over your life, you are not forgotten. You are being formed. And though the night feels endless, the dawn is nearer than you think. You have seen, beloved, how Abraham's waiting revealed faith, how Mary and Martha's tears opened the way for resurrection. But there is still more for us to uncover, because God does not simply delay blessings. He delays because He is preparing you to become the blessing. Think of Joseph. A dream was placed upon his young heart, a dream of leadership, a dream of honor, a dream of God's purpose. But before the throne, there was the pit. Before the crown, there were chains. Before the dream was fulfilled, there was delay after delay after delay. It was in the prison that Joseph learned stewardship. It was in betrayal that Joseph learned forgiveness. It was in silence that Joseph learned to hear God's whisper. So when the moment of breakthrough came, Joseph was not only ready to receive the promise, he was ready to carry the weight of it, without bitterness, without pride, but with humility and wisdom. Do you see the pattern? Delay is never wasted. Delay is the school of the Spirit. Delay is the furnace where character is purified. For what good is a promise fulfilled if the vessel who holds it is still cracked and unready? A quick blessing can ruin a shallow soul, but a delayed blessing forms a deep well. And from that well flows water that does not run dry. So the question we must ask is not, Lord, how long? But rather, Lord, what are you forming in me as I wait? For every delay holds a lesson, and every lesson is an invitation to intimacy. Yet, my dear friend, I know the human heart. I know that patience feels heavy, that silence feels cruel, that delay feels endless. So let me remind you gently, God Himself knows waiting. Jesus waited 30 years before He began His ministry. The Son of God walked this earth, hidden in silence, learning obedience, working with His hands, praying in secret, long before the crowds ever heard His voice. Even Christ, the Anointed One, was not rushed. And when the fullness of time came, He stepped into His calling, not a moment too early, not a moment too late. If the Son of God Himself embraced waiting, can we not also trust the delays of our Father? Now hear me clearly. Delays are not the enemy. Delays are the canvas upon which God paints his eternal purposes. And though your eyes may only see the empty strokes, when the painting is complete, you will marvel at the beauty that could only come by waiting. Let us walk deeper still. There is another layer to this mystery. Sometimes the delay is not about your heart alone. Sometimes it is about the hearts of others whom your breakthrough will touch. Think of Israel, waiting 400 years for deliverance from Egypt. Think of the generations who longed for the Messiah. Think of the prayers of prophets who never saw the fulfillment in their lifetime. And yet, when the time came, God's plan was revealed in fullness. Your waiting may not be only about you. It may be about your children. It may be about those whose lives will be changed through your testimony. It may be about nations you have never seen. God's delays are woven into a tapestry far larger than what your eyes can perceive. So I say to you tonight, do not despise the delay. Do not curse the silence. Do not abandon your faith in the waiting, because unseen, beyond your understanding, God is orchestrating a story so much greater than your own. Listen closely. If you walk away too soon, you will miss the resurrection after the tomb. If you stop believing too early, you will miss the laughter of Sarah holding Isaac in her arms. If you let go in despair, you will miss the prison doors opening for Joseph. The very moment when chains fall away, every delay is a seed of glory. But only those who endure the waiting see the harvest. The Apostle Peter said, "The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you. What you call slowness, God calls mercy. What you call delay, God calls preparation. What you call silence, God calls love." So let me speak now into your spirit. If you are waiting for healing, trust that in the delay, God is healing deeper wounds that the eye cannot see. If you are waiting for provision, trust that in the delay, God is teaching you dependence on the bread of life himself. If you are waiting for direction, trust that in the delay, God is tuning your ears to hear his voice above the noise. And if you are waiting for breakthrough, trust that in the delay, God is preparing not just the blessing, but the very ground upon which you will stand when the blessing comes. Now pause again. Take another breath with me. Let your soul exhale. For the one who holds the stars in place also holds your timeline in his hands. And he is never late. He is the God who arrives at the fourth watch of the night, when the storm feels strongest. He is the God who comes after the tomb has been sealed, when hope feels gone. He is the God who waits until the womb is barren, so that life may spring forth by his word alone. He is never late. He is always perfect. So here is the final truth. I want to leave with you. Delays are not the withering of promise. They are the deepening of faith. God is more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are receiving. And sometimes, the longer the wait, the greater the transformation. For in the waiting, you learn to pray without ceasing. In the waiting, you learn to love him more than his gifts. In the waiting, you learn to walk not by sight, but by trust. And when the breakthrough finally comes, you will discover this sacred secret. The real treasure was not the promise fulfilled, but the God you came to know in the delay. So, beloved child of God, rest your heart tonight. Lay down your impatience. Release your timelines. Lift your eyes, and remember that the God who promised is faithful. The delay will end. The dawn will come. And when it does, you will see that every moment of waiting was worth the glory it prepared. Until then, cling not to the outcome, but to him, for he is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and in his hands your story is safe. Amen.